You got Corona?
No. Nope. First up, put us on the record, Shannon.
Okay.
Okay, first up is Robinson versus Taylor. And let's see, Ms. McCluskey's here on behalf of the defendant. And Ms. Taylor is also present. And let's see, Mr. Hotchkiss is on the next case, correct?
And Your Honor, I'm also on that case with Mr. Hotchkiss. I believe he sent an email to the court. We're going to ask for a brief adjournment. We believe our clients are close to a resolution. If you prefer to call that case, or we just can enter a stip in order to adjourn on the Terry v. Terry matter.
Let me get him in. Good morning, Mr. Hotchkiss.
Morning, Your Honor.
So in the matter of Terry versus Terry, I understand that you'd like a brief adjournment to see if you can't resolve the issues.
That's correct, Your Honor. I know that Ms. McCluskey has another matter scheduled for this morning anyways, but we've not really had an opportunity to discuss resolution. I think at some point we might ask the court to weigh in with its judicial philosophy. If we can't resolve, a short adjournment would be great if you'd be so inclined.
All right, I'll have Dawn find you a date in the near future.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
Thank you too.
Okay, so that brings us to Robinson versus Taylor. And I don't have Mr. Robinson. He has not signed in. I do have a phone number. I guess my inclination is to give him a call.
Actually,
he may not have.
Your Honor, this will come out in testimony. It's my client's understanding and mine as well that Mr. Robinson is still incarcerated for a recent domestic incident against my client. He may be at Wesley Street, and I'm not sure how the court would prefer to proceed. He obviously was aware of this proceeding. He appeared at the motion hearing, and there was proper service. But
if he is in jail at Wesley, we do need to try to make arrangements for his participation. Let me call over there and see if he can be brought into the Zoom room.
Okay.
You want me to check to see if he's even there?
Yeah, why don't you do that first?
Okay, hang on one second.
Shannon's just verifying to make sure he's still on the jail roster.
I checked yesterday and it seemed that he was, but I'm not sure how often that's updated.
Usually every morning, so. Edward Robinson. Is it Edward Ray?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in there still, so.
All right, I'm going to call over and see if he can be brought into the Zoom room. Good morning. This is Judge LaFlamme. I just learned that one of the participants in a hearing I have scheduled for this morning is incarcerated. Edward Ray Robinson. Would it be possible to have him brought to my Zoom room?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right, I'll just keep my eye peeled for when I see him show up in my waiting room.
Okay, I'll go ahead and get him signed on one of our tablets here right now.
Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome. Bye.
Okay, so he's going to be brought to their one of the rooms where he can participate in the hearing. And Ms. McCluskey, these are your client's the moving party here, is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right. Do you anticipate testimony from anyone other than Ms. Taylor?
Just Ms. Taylor this morning.
All right, well, as soon as he arrives, we'll bring him in and we'll get started.
Thank you.
And here he is. Like we're having trouble getting a connection.
Bless you.
Thank you.
This is about to sit here.
Be careful, because that's not attached down there.
This is major.
There's a plan. Yep, line those. If you need to set it here, you can. As long as you got visual on whatever's comfortable for it.
Hey, no problem, man.
Okay, looks like we have Mr. Robinson present. You are Edward Robinson?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Robinson, we are scheduled for a hearing to take evidence this morning in the matter of Robinson versus Taylor. I think you can see that Ms. Taylor and her attorney are both present. So, Ms. McCluskey, if you could let me know before we start taking testimony exactly what it is that your client is seeking today.
Your Honor, and circumstances have changed a little bit in the past few days because of Mr. Robinson's incarceration. So that's an update from when the motion was filed, well, when the motion hearing was held. So my client is asking for, the parties would retain joint legal custody, but she's asking for sole physical custody. And quite frankly, because of the very recent changes and Mr. Robinson's incarceration for domestic violence against my client again, we would ask for suspended parenting time pending the outcome of the domestic violence. Well, obviously, while Mr. Robinson is incarcerated, clearly, and I guess If the court were not inclined to suspend Mr. Robinson's parenting time, we would have to leave parenting time in the court's discretion per Mr. Robinson's testimony and his presentation. But considering the circumstances and the nature of the violation, we would ask that parenting time would be suspended at this time. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Robinson, I'm assuming you are opposed to the mother getting sole physical custody?
Yes, sir, this is just a temporary situation here based on her allegations. Actually, what she did, Your Honor, by me having to give her, I didn't have to give her visitation time. Per the court order I have her domestic, I tried to be a gentleman and be polite about it. She shut me up. She came to court and told the major that I'm having contact with her by giving her parenting time when she filed this motion for parenting time when she wasn't supposed to get it. I have no contact with her. This is why I'm sitting in jail, sir, because of her. Shenanigans with her, sir. She's constantly manipulating the court. So I'm in court right now because of her. One for the domestic with no contact with her. I tried to unite with my sister and give her to a third party because they're not, it's not their responsibility, and that's a violation. And I hadn't done anything to her in the first place, so I said, well, she should get it from me. They didn't want to get it together. So they got her from me.
Mr. Robinson, let me stop you. Apparently, we don't have the best of audio connections. I was not able to understand most of what you said.
You need to hear it. It needs to be heard. Let me get some better audio for this officer. You need to hear this. This is very important. Very important. It seems like I'm in like a enclosed area within the mind.
Yeah.
I need to be heard. Hang on, he's coming now. No, he can't hear me. Oh, he don't hear me because of the surroundings. I need to lock your eye because of the surroundings. Excuse me. 1 second, Your Honor.
We're having trouble with the audio connection. It's breaking up just enough that I'm having difficulty understanding Mr. Robinson.
Okay, sir. Can you hear me better now?
I can hear you quite well right now.
Right here.
Is this better, Your Honor? Can you hear me better, Your Honor?
Yes, that's much better, sir. So I'm going to give you a chance to testify later. So just hold on to whatever it is that you wanted to tell me. I was looking for a yes or no answer, and I think I got that answer. You are opposed to this change in custody.
Yes, sir.
So since Ms. Taylor's the moving party, I'm going to hear from her attorney and from her first. I'd ask you please not interrupt when Ms. McCluskey is done questioning Ms. Taylor. I will give you the opportunity to ask questions. And then if you don't have any questions, or whenever you're done asking questions, then I will give you the opportunity to testify, but you got to wait your turn, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Taylor, would you please raise your right hand? You do swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
State your full name for the record.
Rachel Ann Taylor.
Go ahead, Ms. McCluskey.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Taylor, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. So you are mother to Camden Alec Taylor, born April 11th of 2015, correct?
Correct.
And you share Camden with Mr. Robinson. He is the legal father, is that correct?
Yes.
The current custody and parenting time order gives you joint legal custody, primary physical custody to Mr. Robinson, is that correct?
Correct.
In the ordered parenting time, you spend every other weekend and one midweek evening with Camden, is that correct?
That's what I'm court-ordered.
Okay. And then we'll get to what you've been exercising. Where do you currently reside?
In Flint, Michigan.
Okay. And do you have any other children in the home?
Yes, I do.
And who would that be?
Nolan Johnson.
Okay. And how old is Nolan?
He just turned 10.
And would that be Camden's half brother?
Yes.
As for the parenting time, have you been exercising the parenting time as it is ordered?
No.
Okay, and what type of parenting time have you been exercising with Camden?
So I know a while back it was, I wouldn't get him every other weekend. I haven't gotten, like, when school's out, like even during this COVID, it's still been every other weekend. Sometimes I wouldn't get them. The midday I can't do because I'm always transporting. Like, I drive to Jackson the weekend. It was court-ordered to meet me halfway. That's never been followed. But I do it to see my child. So, there's
Okay, when you say you, oh, I'm sorry, when you say you have not been getting him every other weekend consistently, why is that?
no, not entirely. Like lately it has been, but I think it's due to knowing that we had a court date coming up and me filing a motion. I have did parenting time complaints and have sent them in. I mean, it's not been followed like it should have been.
Okay, and so the midweek parenting time, did you indicate Mr. Robinson is supposed to assist with transportation?
No, I'm supposed to, from the quarter last time, I believe I'm supposed to drive to Jackson to see him, but then every other weekend it was him supposed to be meeting me at a fire department or somewhere. That way, you know, in case anything was, you know, to happen or whatnot. And that
And why was it necessary to meet at a public place as like a fire department?
due to like his, basically me being scared of Edward. That's what was put into place last time we went to court. Because I knew something would happen, and obviously it did.
Is there a history of domestic violence in this relationship?
There has been, but I haven't ever filed any police, you know, anything to the police. This was the first time that I have, and it's due to him doing it in front of my child.
Okay, and we'll get to that also. So when you drive to Jackson for the midweek parenting time, does Mr. Robinson make Camden available to you?
So, a couple times he hasn't.
Okay. Oh. Can you still hear us, Mr. Taylor?
Sorry, I don't know how I muted. Can you repeat that question?
When you have driven to Jackson for the midweek parenting time, has Mr. Robinson made Camden available to you?
Sometimes that he hasn't, and other times he has. I know I've drove there a couple times with him not responding to me to pick him up, wasting my gas to go there for him not to respond.
Okay, so let's clarify that. When you get to Jackson, is it on your scheduled day at your scheduled time?
Yes.
And you said he doesn't respond, so can you?
Yes, there'd be times where we would argue about something and then he wouldn't respond to me and let me get him. It's him trying to be in control of everything.
Okay. You mentioned an incident in front of your child. Can you describe that to the court?
So I think it was back in February. I had Camden. I went to go bring him back to Jackson. Edward wouldn't answer me, so I brought him back home with me. He texted me later on that day telling me to bring his child home, and I said, I'm not bringing him home until the following day. I don't have time just to keep running back and forth. When I get to Jackson, I tried calling him. He didn't respond, so I texted him. He told me to meet him over at Josie's party store. I go over there, and when I do, he puts his hands on me. Camden's sitting right next to me. Camden somehow ends up jumping out of the car and running across the parking lot. You know, he was scared. Even to this day, he brings it up. You know.
And when you say he put his hands on you, how do you mean?
He tried punching me a few times in my head. I mean, I even have a witness to it, and that's what I'm going to court for now. I would kick him to get him off of me because I was trying to get him off of me because my child's right there. And he kept doing it. Then he goes to the side of my vehicle, yells at some people in the car to come out and jump me. And then so I get out and then I get back in my car trying to shut my door and he stops my door from shutting and he continues to hit me. So I'm continuing to kick him to get him off of me.
Okay.
And like I said, my kid was there the whole time.
Was law enforcement called?
Yes, or no, I didn't. I called them as soon as I left Josie's and was able to get him out of my car. And I think the only reason why is because there was a man there that asked him to stop. I don't even know who the gentleman was, but I ended up getting away from him. I called the police and I met them at the police station because they were closed. They ended up coming and opening the door to me. I went in there and made a report. As I'm sitting in the waiting room of the police department, here he's texting me telling me he's going to jail and I need to come get Camden. So then I asked the jail, because I'm already there, did they get a call and is he going to jail? And they told me no. So to me, it was like he was setting me up to go back there for me to get jumped.
Okay, so to your knowledge, why is Mr. Robinson incarcerated at this time?
For my domestic violence and contacting me and asking me to drop charges.
Okay. Where does Mr. Robinson live? Where do you exchange Camden when you come to Jackson?
I don't know where he lives. He hasn't told me, but I will meet him now. I meet him at like the Dollar General on Cooper with somebody present with me. I always bring somebody to Jackson to pick him up with me.
Okay. And do you pay, there's a child support order in place, is that correct?
Correct.
And are you current on that support order?
Yes.
Okay. Do you provide other financial assistance to Mr. Robinson or Camden?
Yes, when he texts me and asks me for money, I always send it to him. I know like in the past it was for me to feed my kid. I would give him money. I claimed taxes 2 years in a row and gave him taxes from claiming Camden because I didn't want to fight with him. I mean, anything I do, I have to watch out because I can't see Camden if I don't do what he asks, basically.
Okay. Any other, aside from the domestic incident you just described, have there been any other domestic incidents or incidents of concern since the last order entered?
Since the last order entered, I mean, there's a lot of things like Camden's behavior that he has. He's always constantly hitting people. You know, him telling me that his dad says that I'm fat and he does everything for him, that I don't do anything for him. I mean, there's recordings on his school tablet, him moaning, making sounds like he's having sex. I mean, it's everything. I mean, I feel like he'd be more stable with me. His dad ain't working. I have a full-time job. I have stability, and that's something I want to give to my child.
Okay, when you say Mr. Robinson's not working, how do you know that Mr. Robinson is not working?
I mean,
Has he told you he's not working?
yeah, believe he's collecting unemployment right now.
Okay. And I'm sorry to go backwards here, but you said you're not aware of where Mr. Robinson is living. Is that correct?
Correct.
Have you been made aware of any locations where Mr. Robinson is living?
No. And then the people that he has watched my kid be aware of my, child when he's out doing whatever it is he's doing, his cousin Terry, which is a registered sex offender, drug addicts like Leanne Crabtree. I mean, it's just a lot of things I don't agree with, and I'm, like I said, I'm stable. He needs to have stability.
Okay. Who is caring for Camden, to your knowledge, when he's not with Mr. Robinson or yourself?
I know Leanne Crabtree, I've heard has, and I know she's very well known, and Terry for the most part. And
okay, how are you aware that Ms. Crabtree is caring for your child?
One time I went to go pick him up when he was over living on Douglas Street, and she opened the door to give him to me.
Okay.
So that time I didn't agree with that, like why is she watching my child? We've had
before Mr. Robinson became unemployed, were you aware of where he was employed prior to that time?
No, he don't really tell me much of somewhere in Dexter. I know that.
Okay.
You know, and then like even through this case, you know, there was the domestic violence, CPS got involved, and he went to jail. He's been to jail, went to jail a couple times, and like they would call me to come pick him up. He would deny me to come get him, and have somebody else go get him. So I have no say so even when things happen with my child or with him and him having my child. I don't have any say so in any of that.
So you've been contacted by CPS, is that correct?
Yes, to pick him up, and then they're telling me they're closing the case because he won't even cooperate with what the recommendations that they put into place.
Hey, Rob.
Hold on.
Where are you currently employed?
Flint, Odyssey House.
Hold on a minute. Hold on, please.
Look and see, 'cause if this at, they talking about this at 2 o'clock, if that's too long, I'm just gonna pay it, so I can pick up work.
I need to find out what's going on at Mr. Robinson's end.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Robinson, what exactly is going on in the room you're in?
Their officers are doing their duties back and forth. We have other inmates out here. I don't know if they put me in a private room where you can hear me. I don't know what they do. Yeah, they're trying to get someone else processed here. Your Honor, I'm trying to slide. Yeah, he's trying to process somebody in here.
All right, hold on. Let's hold on.
Here. We'll go to that room right now.
Okay.
Go right down here.
All right, hang on, you can try another room for it. Yeah, hang on. Okay. Is that better, Your Honor?
Hey, that's pretty good. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ms. McCluskey.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Taylor, do you have any other concerns about Camden being in Mr. Robinson's care?
Well, so what I was saying before was when CPS contacted me to get him and him denying me of that, you know, she stated that he wouldn't follow through with the recommendation, so they closed the case. And he has behavioral health issues, you know, like he's always constantly wanting to hit people, and you know, so I mean, I just feel like it would be in the best interest for him to be with me.
Okay. And where are you currently employed?
Flint Odyssey House, that's another thing. He tried calling my job, talking to my CEO to get me fired.
How long have you been employed with Flint Odyssey House?
Since 2018.
And what is your role there?
Right now, I wear the hats of many, really. I'm the treatment administrator, I'm a substance abuse counselor, and I'm a state certified recovery coach.
And you said your son Nolan, does he live with you full time?
Yes, he does.
Is there a bond between Nolan and Camden?
Oh, definitely. Since Camden, because I recently right now have Camden because I got a phone call come get him because whoever had him couldn't have him. So I got a call to come get him. So I went there Sunday of last Sunday and picked him up. So I currently have him, and just him, the presence of him here.
Okay. So when you say you picked him up, Mr. Robinson, are you saying when Mr. Robinson was incarcerated, he replaced Camden with someone other than yourself?
Correct. And
who did he place Camden with when he became incarcerated?
I don't even know. I got a call from a woman he used to live with, telling me that he was incarcerated and seeing if I would come pick him up. She worked, and there was nobody to take him.
Okay, and I'm sorry, back to Nolan and Camden. How do you observe the bond between Nolan and Camden?
It's great. They're always together. They sleep together. They play games together. Nolan loves having him around, and he loves being with Nolan. So they're inseparable when they're together.
And I'm sorry, do you share custody of Nolan with his father, or you have sole custody of?
I have sole custody.
Okay. And How long have you had full custody of Nolan?
Since 2017.
Okay. What are your hourly or yearly wages with the Flint Odyssey house?
I make $15 an hour.
Okay.
And then I get child support from Nolan's dad.
Okay. Are you able to financially provide for Nolan and Camden if the court were inclined to place Camden with you?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Do you have your own home?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And that is at Flint Odyssey house or off the property?
No, I have my own home. I'm not in recovery housing or anything like that.
Maybe another area.
I have my own home.
Do you share that home with anyone other than Nolan?
My
Hold on,
sister-
hold on a minute, hold on. Let's let Mr. Robinson get settled again.
We'll go around here.
Can you hear me okay, Your Honor?
I could hear that.
You can hear me, sir?
Yeah, I'm a little concerned. It looks like we don't have quite as good a signal wherever they just put you.
Yeah, I need to be present. This is a very serious hearing, Your Honor, and I really need to be here.
Ross, are you good?
We
No,
cer-
I'm
we
not getting-
certainly,
I'm having a very fast here. This is
Bring it over here again.
I don't know if it's any better at all, Your Honor.
yeah, I think that was a little better.
Oh,
The
boy.
image is image is a little choppy, but as long as I can hear you, that's what's important.
All right.
All right, you may continue, Ms. McCluskey.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Taylor, how did you come to be, and I know we were here for a hearing not a couple of years ago, but how did you become involved with the Flint Odyssey House as a reminder to the court?
So I was heavy in addiction. And you know, I got into recovery court. And they ended up putting me into Flint Odyssey House, and I went through treatment in 2016. I read out to the CO peer group, which is candidate out, graduate of the Flint Odyssey House, and they hired me for the position of the treatment administrator. Since then, I have been almost close to 5 years clean. And I mean, I'm doing good. I wouldn't can't see myself back in that lifestyle. I'm doing, everything I can to move forward in life. And, I just want to have a better life for me and my kids. I was bad in addiction, but that was close to 5 years ago.
And to your knowledge, does Mr. Robinson have any substance abuse issues or past?
I know he's an alcoholic, and he does, or has had a past.
And how do you know, have you personally observed this use, or has he admitted to you?
I used to get high with him when I was in my addiction.
Okay, to your knowledge, has his substance abuse issues continued?
Yes.
If you know, and how do you know that?
Because of him being around, always telling me, when I talk to people, how I need to get Camden to get him out of that situation.
Okay, does he admit his use directly to you?
Yes.
And can you give the court an example or an instance where he has done so?
I mean, I've witnessed a couple of different occasions of going to get Camden of his drug activity. I'm not saying like getting high. Well, yeah, when he stayed on Douglas Street and I stayed over there, he did, get high over there.
Okay. Does Camden attend school in person or online currently?
Currently online, I believe. He's
Okay.
got a school tablet, so I'm pretty sure, I mean, it's just online. I don't know if he goes a couple days out of the week and then does it on tablet. I don't really know. He don't share much information with me.
Okay, where does where does Nolan attend school?
Grand Blanc Academy, but he does his daily online.
Okay, and if the court were to place Camden with you, would he be able to continue his schooling?
Yes.
Okay. Do you attend church services regularly?
No, I don't.
Okay. Who covers Camden on medical or healthcare insurance?
I believe the state.
Okay.
Like I said, he don't give me much information on him, but it would have to be.
Do you have any recent criminal charges or any pending criminal charges yourself?
No, I have
Okay.
old ones from years ago, but nothing now.
How would you characterize your current mental health?
I'm very stable. I don't take any medications. I go to work every day on time. Attend to my kids after. I feel like right now I'm like in the best state of mind and the most stable I've ever been.
Okay. So you're not under the care of any professionals for mental health concerns? Okay.
Not at all.
If Camden were to be placed with you, who would care for Camden when he's not in school?
My sister Abby, she watches them when I go to work, making sure Nolan gets on to do his homework, on with his teacher at 1:30 every day. She does a lot.
Do you have any physical ailments that would impede your ability to care for Camden if he were placed with you?
No,
Are you aware of how Camden is doing in school at this time?
no, I'm not.
Okay. How does Nolan do in school while in your care?
Nolan does great. I mean, he's hyperactive. He does take medications for his ADD, ADHD. So he's very hyperactive, but he does fairly well. He does have an IEP. He works, with teachers one-on-one to make sure he gets his assignments done. He does really well.
If Camden were to be placed with you, are there activities and sports and such available to him in your community?
Yes.
Does Nolan participate in any of those at this time?
Not at this time. Like I said, due to COVID and schooling being online, there's not really much, his school ain't open at this time.
Okay. Any domestic violence in your current home or with any current partner?
No.
Okay. Do you share a bond with Camden?
Yes.
And how can you describe that to the court?
Camden's not very lovable, and I think it's, due to him being with his dad, but like when he comes around, like, he loves to cuddle with me. Like, he don't like to be known as a good boy. He likes to be known as a bad boy. You can't tell him he's done anything good because then he'll, get mad about it. But just I'll sit there and like tell him like, no, that was a good thing, or I'm trying to encourage him that it's better to be a good boy and not a bad boy. But he loves to love on me. He loves to be around me when I'm home. I'll sit on the couch watching TV and he like wants to sit right next to me. He wants to lay right next to me in my bed.
When you say he doesn't want to be known as a good boy, why is that, Ms. Taylor?
I don't know. I don't know. If you tell him thank you, when he does something good, he'll be like, don't tell me thank you. Like he just wants to be known as bad. And then like when my sister tries telling him to do something, he'll tell her like, don't talk to me like that. I won't listen to you. You're a woman. I don't know where he gets, these things are just, it's not normal.
Do you believe if he was placed with you, you could make progress in that area with Camden?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So you are able to provide food, clothing, medical care, all the necessities for Camden and Nolan, both?
Yes, I am.
How long have you lived in the home where you currently reside?
I just signed another year lease, so 2 years. Or
Do you have any, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Ms. Taylor.
a year, sorry.
Is your employment with Flint Odyssey House is ongoing, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Do you have any intention to leave there or leave the home you're currently in?
Not at all.
Are you personally aware of any, aside from the current charges, Mr. Robinson's criminal history?
I don't know exactly what it is. I know there's been drug charges. I'm not really too sure. I don't.
Okay, if you don't know. Does Mr. Robinson have other children?
Yes, he does.
And if you have personal knowledge, what is the custodial arrangement between those children and Mr. Robinson?
I know the youngest one, he gets supervised visits at the state building. I think the other ones are grown. I don't know exactly how many. I just know he's got a daughter that's the same age as Camden. They're only a couple months apart.
Okay. And the child with whom he only has supervised visits, has he discussed that with you?
Yeah,
Directly?
he was trying to go for custody and get the kid from the grandma because the grandma has the child.
Okay.
So he's been going to court trying to get her, and I felt like I don't think he deserves her.
Does Camden talk about wanting to spend more time with you or wanting to spend more time with Nolan or in your home?
Every time I go to take Camden home, he cries. He throws a fit. He don't want to go. And I hate making him go.
Okay. And you said that's consistent?
Yeah. He hates, anytime I got to take him home, he hates going home.
Okay. Is there any other information you'd like the court to consider when making its decision?
Sorry.
I'm sorry, what was that, Ms. Taylor?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Oh, is there any other information you think is important for the court to consider when making its decision?
I mean, I hope,
Well, let me rephrase that. Why do you think it's in Camden's best interest to live with yourself primarily instead of Mr. Robinson?
because I have stability. Like I can, Camden can be in a stable environment and feel safe. Instead of going from place to place. I know for a while, Edward didn't even have a place to go and was staying at a shelter, and that's one of the reasons he wanted me to drop the domestic charges so that he can get into a place and find him employment, I guess. I mean,
When you say he was living in a shelter, did he tell you that, Ms. Taylor?
yes, it was down at the women's shelter. I thought it was only a woman's shelter, but I guess he was able to stay there. I don't know.
Okay, and when was that, if you remember?
I don't remember when exactly this was.
Was it this year?
Yes.
Can you narrow down a month of this year?
I think around the time I first filed the motion.
Okay. And where was Camden when Mr. Robinson was homeless?
He was also staying at the interface shelter, and he ended up going to the other shelter because he ended up getting kicked out of that shelter, I believe.
And you discussed this with him?
Yes.
Okay. What did Mr. Robinson tell you were the circumstances surrounding his homelessness?
Being able to not find a job, having to make sacrifices for our son. There was a point in time where he wanted me to move to Jackson and so I could be with the kids, but I knew it wasn't going to work.
And I apologize if I cut you off answering this, but where was Camden when Mr. Robinson was homeless, if you know?
With him.
Okay.
With him staying at shelters.
Okay. And I'm sorry to interrupt. You were telling the court why you think it's in Camden's best interest to reside primarily with you.
Because that way he's not being bounced from people to people, and like I said, stability, and him being able to be redirected. Like his behavior is, he likes to hate. I mean, it's a little out of control. Like he just needs stability, and I can give him that.
Okay. And when you discuss stability, and I apologize if you answered this, before Mr. Robinson became unemployed, if you know, where did he work?
I don't, somewhere in Dexter, I think, driving a truck.
So driving, does that mean he traveled, to your knowledge?
No, I'm not really sure what kind of company it was, but I know he drove, like, I don't know if it was dump trucks or what. Or that he
Okay.
was a truck driver a few years ago. I don't know how long ago exactly, but
Okay. Anything else you think the court should consider? I'm sorry, Ms. Taylor. Anything else you think the court should consider in making its decision?
no.
Okay. All right. I have no further questions at this time. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Taylor, this is now your opportunity to ask, Mr. Robinson, I'm sorry. This is your opportunity to ask Ms. Taylor questions. Okay, it's not quite time for you to testify. We'll give you that in a moment, but do you have any questions for her?
My main question to her would be, why would she try to make these false allegations to the court? She has the facts to state this stuff on. I don't understand where all this is coming from all of a sudden. She puts on a different facade when we're engaged in texting or whatever. She never really calls me and talks on the phone because of her shallowness and her own personality.
All right, hold on. You did ask one question at the beginning, which I find to be an argumentative question. Do you have any specific questions for her, or do you just want me to hear your testimony now?
Well, I really can't question or anything. We don't collaborate. The things that she's saying is just hearsay she's saying. We don't communicate enough. I don't know her lifestyle outside of her work.
Okay. All right.
We don't. That's not true.
Sounds to me like you'd like to testify now, so I'm going to put you under oath.
Sure.
Would you raise your right hand, please?
Yes.
You do swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
State your full name, please.
Edward Ray Robinson.
Okay, Mr. Robinson, I've got a few questions for you before I hear whatever it is you want to tell me.
Okay.
It looked to me like you were in a wheelchair.
Yes, sir.
Why is that?
I just had a recent back injury picking up a lawnmower from my niece mowing her grass, and it was a self-propelled lawnmower versus a regular lawnmower, and it just pulled a muscle in my back, and I'm doing steroids and stuff right now, regime for 7 days here.
So you're saying that's just a temporary situation?
Yeah. It's just, I got sharp pain going on my right leg for a second. I'm actually doing physical therapy for it, and the steroid regimen. They give you a 7-day steroid regimen. It's nothing real bad, but they don't want it to get any worse. We're just watching it right now. Just done X-rays and stuff on it yesterday.
Okay. Are you currently employed?
Yes, I am.
Where do you work?
Auto Wares, Jackson, Michigan.
Say that again, just a little clearer. The connection is good now. The problem is I'm just having a little bit understanding you. Did you say Auto Works?
Auto Wares. W-A-R-E-S.
What kind of business is that?
It's an automotive store, a full automotive store chain.
Parts store?
Like Advanced Auto. Yeah, there you go. Parts store. Yes, you got it.
And how long have you been working there?
It's almost a year.
Is that a full-time job?
Yes, it is.
Are you paid by the hour?
Yes, I am.
And what's your hourly rate?
$13 an hour, sir.
Does that employer provide you with any benefits?
Not at this time.
So is Camden on Medicaid?
Yes, he is.
Okay. Obviously, you're currently incarcerated, but where do you live?
I live in Jackson, Michigan, so I don't want my address to be disclosed to Ms. Taylor due to the harassment I get from her, sending state police and stuff to my house and damaging vehicles, harassment for her family.
All right, well, I won't ask you for the address, but could you at least describe the residence that you live in?
Yes, I live in a 2-bedroom townhouse, sir. I've been there, me and Camden has been there for close to 6 months now. Since our last transition, the state had me I'm actually in a reunification for my daughter. Me and Camden had a 1-bedroom we stayed in for about a year and a half, as Ms. Taylor mentioned. And the state came in and did a home study and told me we had to give that 1-bedroom up and get a 2-bedroom because a boy and a girl could not reside in the same bedroom. That caused my housing transition, not me being homeless. The state ordered me to do this and told me they would assist us with this. When we started this transition, they all bailed out on it. They all bailed out, and then this COVID came into play.
I got you. Are you, what's the name of the child that you were seeking to be reunified with?
Olivia Taylor. We're actually, we visit her once a week. We just got our visitation started back. We visit her once a week at the state building. We've actually had an incident where Miss Taylor and them fabricated this domestic assault, sent me to jail from down there, called the police, told me down there visiting. I went to jail down there with my kids and stuff like that. So it's just been ongoing harassment with them.
So who else lives with you at this townhouse besides Camden?
Just me and Camden. Just me and Camden.
All right.
We're the only ones on the lease.
So who normally cares for Camden while you're working?
My sister or one of my nieces, sir. Or Lindsay, who she got Camden from, the woman who helped me rear him since I've had him. Same people who's been in his life from day one, sir.
Where does Camden go to school?
I recognize remote learning. Part of that, I sent this information in to your clerk. Your information. I mean, he has all this information. He attends Frost Elementary. He has 100% of school attendance, so no behavioral problems at all that are noted. The only problem we have is when he is returned from the mother, and the school is willing to attest to this.
All right, and I think you're referring to, I do have some documents in the file. I don't know, Ms. McCluskey, you probably haven't seen these.
I have not, Your Honor. No documents nor any written response to the motion.
I'm looking at there's a early and often showing up in school matters. It says Camden's year-to-date attendance percentage is 100%, but it really doesn't tell me. There's no date on that, so I don't know what that applies to. But the next page is a classroom support plan. Shows a date of discussion 3/2 of 2020 for Camden. It says strengths, loves to help and be a leader. Areas I identified needing additional support. Identifying and talking about emotions, keeping himself and others safe. And then it identifies some targets, expressing emotions. And then for that target, there's a criteria for success, labeling his emotion and talking about how he is feeling, using emotion chart and sensory toys to calm. And then number 2, keeping himself and others safe, going to adults for help when upset, using safe place to calm down. And then it says, with a little star next to it, if unsafe behaviors are not able to be redirected, an adult will be called to pick up child.
Yeah,
So I would gather from this that Camden was having trouble regulating his behaviors in classroom.
Every other weekend when he came back home, I would have to attend school. Monday they would call me to school. We had to actually put a weighted vest on him. I signed a commitment to put a weighted vest on him to kind of calm him down for the first couple of days that he came back, because his time at his mother's house is all play, where there's no rules and no boundaries. So when he has to come back to me, he has a set bedtime, he has homework to do and stuff like that. So naturally, he doesn't want to readjust. Being a child, he doesn't really want to readjust. I have 8 children, so I have a lot of parenting skills, and I understand that. So I work hand in hand with the school for us to keep him on path towards progress. We've had a wonderful progressive path with him with us.
All right, there's looks like a Smiles on Wheels assessment of his dental hygiene from October of last year. Looks like this was done at Frost. Looks like he got an assessment and a fluoride treatment and a note. Have teeth cleaned every 6 months, and then a great job.
Great, yeah. That is Dennis last month. Excellent, no cavities, no nothing. Excellent.
There's it looks like a report card, but it's all blank. There aren't any grades on it. I've got a photograph. Looks like Mr. Robinson with a boy looking at him. I'm guessing that's Camden. And a girl that's got her tongue sticking out. I'm going to guess that's Olivia.
That's correct, sir. One of our visitations.
And then there's a page with looks like a Batman figure, and Camden holding a Batman balloon or stuff.
Yeah, that's his calming doll in school. Batman's one of his favorite characters, so we designated Batman for his calming doll. He gets upset or something like that, you go give him a hug.
It says, I have a Batman rule helper. I keep him in my pocket because he helps me follow all the rules at school. Yeah. Batman knows the classroom rules, and sometimes when I forget, he helps me remember. I also have a Batman I can hug. Sometimes when I am feeling sad or angry, hugging my big Batman helps me feel better.
Yes, sir.
So this all came from school. Mr. Robinson?
Yes, sir.
Those records all came from his school?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Taylor testified to a period of time during the past year when you were living in a shelter or shelters. Is that correct?
Yes, we actually went to the worst shelter when she domestically assaulted me and alleged that I assaulted her. We did live in the worst shelter for domestically abused people for about 30, 45 days. Yeah, yes, we did. Not from being homeless, just from the transition from the incident that happened with her, and you know what he had seen, and which was nothing major. He just seen her kicking me, and he talked about that to this day still. My mom kicked my dad. Rachel was not assaulted. That's a false accusation there. And it's one of her ploys to try to get Camden. One of her many ploys. This is like the third or fourth stunt she's done to do this. And this is why I'm sitting here now. She would communicate with me, and she wouldn't tell the courts that we had contact, so they violated my bond condition to raise my bond. You know, which we would communicate about the child, and the district attorney would try to contact her, and I'd ask her what was the status. You know, what's the status of it, whatnot, what's going on? Are you dropping charges or whatnot? She said, well, I'm not showing up to court. And then court came, and she got on court and told them that. And the judge hit the ceiling and raised my bond.
So you're still facing trial for domestic abuse?
Yeah, I'm taking it. Yes, sir. I'm taking it to trial. I did not assault her. She has no marks, no stuff, and the police report is naked. I didn't assault her. I'm going to trial. We won't go until February of next year due to COVID. And the condition, like I said, I tried to let her see the child thinking I was doing a good deed. She turned around and manipulated it and did this so she could try to take Camden again. She got right up there blatantly and told the court, oh, yeah, we have contact. I get my kid every other weekend. Yeah, he sees me. I talk to him, blah, 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 blah. And we're not supposed to have no contact. And I made her well aware of it. Just before that court, I told her, Rachel, I've been advised not to have any contact with you. I'm trying to be nice and follow the family court's rule to let you get him every other weekend. When I'm not supposed to have you. You shot yourself in the foot by doing this. So it started out with my sister and them encouraging me to let her see the kid, I said, well, I want to, but I'm going to violate the court order. So I'm going to catch-22 here. What do I do? I'm sitting here right now because of her. I haven't done anything to bother her at all. She did this in court. Her and Ms. Koleski set this whole thing up and went right and told Judge May, he said, oh, you got problems now. And I've been sitting here since that. This is one of her ploys. Many, many ploys do this. I don't bother her. I don't call her. I don't harass her. She texts. She doesn't call me. Sometimes I don't see her text message until she decides to call. She's never at home. She's always at work. Always at work. Her addict sister lives at the house. She got an alcoholic friend who lives at the house. Falls down the stairs. Busts his nose, my son tells me. Oh, his face is all bloody. Jeff fell down the stairs from drinking too many beers. Where was your mom at? She was either asleep or at work. So, well, I'm not there.
Based on hearsay, I'm having a...
So you're in jail because your bond was revoked.
Absolutely, for having contact with Rachel. Yes, for having contact with her, see the kid. Yes,
that tells me you're likely to be remaining in jail until you're able to have a trial.
No, he set a bond. I just got a bond set. I have a bond. It just increased. I have a bond.
Do you have a hearing upcoming with Judge Mazur?
Yeah, we have a scheduled hearing for 2021, but I have a bond that we're working on now, sir.
So he increased the dollar amount of your bond?
That's correct, sir. Yes, sir. He doubled it.
And when you're able to raise those funds,
yes,
your understanding is that you will be released.
That's for sure, sir. There's no problem at all. No doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind. We're working on it as we speak. I need to get home to my son. I do his remote learning. I'm his everything. Yes, sir.
So Ms. Taylor testified that you are an alcoholic. Is that true?
No, sir. No, I'm not.
Do you use alcohol?
No, I don't. I used to in moderation. I have so much stuff going on my schedule. I barely have time to groom myself. My schedule is really full.
She also testified that when the two of you were together, you used to get high together. Is that true?
No, sir. I don't use meth. No, sir.
So Ms. Taylor has testified that Camden has trouble controlling his emotions. And I see from the court or from the school records that he has trouble controlling his emotions. Is he subjected to a lot of physical violence? Is he exposed to it? Where does he?
It's in my opinion, Your Honor, in my opinion, Your Honor, it's from the meth use. He's very, very hyperactive child. And me and the school talked to him. And I just, instead of me putting him on medication like she does her other child with that ADHD stuff, I just try to give him love and support and let him be active. You know, let him be an active child. He has remote control car. Everything is play, play, play. And I just try to give him the love and support and tell him, time out, slow down, son. Slow down, let's take a little time out, slow down. His bikes. He has lots of things to do. And he's just a very, very energetic child. And then I expressed to the school, as well as her, she has to realize he's a product from a meth-addicted mother. I mean, she was strongly into meth for her own admittance. And I don't want to medicate the child by any means necessary. No, he's with me 98% of the time. You know, when I'm not at work, he's with me. We're outside doing fishing. We're outside doing something. We're outside riding bikes. I'm trying to teach him basic life skills. And I admit that it's a little hard. And then the only experience she has with him is every other weekend when she has another child that's ADHD and she's never there. And it's just play, play, play. She has it for 48 hours. And it's just play, play, play. Sometimes she comes get him, sometimes she doesn't. You know, so she doesn't get him consistently every other weekend. That's not true. Sometimes her weekends are too busy. Sometimes she can't come get him. Sometimes I've extended her stay for her due to the fact that she couldn't adjust her work schedule. She often works extra hours to try to pick up extra money, which I'm proud of her for doing that. So I only extended his stay outside the corridor to her. I've often given her a day or two extra for him, just be with his mother. I encourage him to be with his mother. It's very healthy. I lost my mom when I was 3 years old. But I don't think Rachel has the energy and let alone the time because she works from sun up to sundown. And when she gets out, she's right in the bed, sleeping. She's always sleeping, always sleeping. I asked him where the marks come from on him. Why does his lip get busted? I fell down here. I said, where was your mom? She was sleeping. Where was your mom? She was at work. Or he fell down some.
Fact based on hearsay, Your Honor.
She told me, she told me from her. He fell down some hill. I said, well, where were you at, Rachel? She went to the grocery store and left him somewhere with somebody else.
If the mother told him that, obviously it's an admission and not hearsay.
Oh, I apologize. I thought he was repeating what Camden allegedly told him.
Mr. Robinson, do you have any other children besides Camden and his sister, who you already identified?
Yes, I have 6 other children. Yes, we just had a family function not too long ago. We had birthday after birthday after birthday about a couple of months ago, where I invited Rachel and her children to come participate also. Yeah.
So these 6 other children, are any of them still minors?
Yeah, a couple of them. There's a couple of minors. Yeah.
Who are the ones that are minors?
I have Jaden, that's a minor. Olivia is a minor. I have Willow, that's a minor. She's been adopted out, so I don't have any visitation. I have 4 of these minors, and 2 of them have been adopted out to their grandparents and stuff, so I don't have contact with them. But the other one's just birthdays periodically. You know, they'll contact. We don't have regular contact through the court, so we're not. Whenever we reach out to one another, we can agree like adults to have contact with no problem.
Do you have any court-ordered parenting time with any children other than Olivia?
Never have, sir. Never been necessary. Never been necessary. No, sir.
So Ms. Taylor testified acknowledging that back at the time that Camden was born, she was heavily into drugs, but she testifies that she has not used drugs for 5 years and that she is presently clean and sober. Do you have any information to contradict that testimony?
Absolutely not. I believe her, and I'm very proud of her. I believe she's absolutely, and I'm very, very proud of her. Yes, I believe her wholeheartedly. She's doing great. She's doing a great job.
Do you and Camden do activities together?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we do a lot of activity. Yeah, we fish, or we take walks together, talk about the outdoors and stuff. So I just actually was talking to some people about visiting their property for some bull hunting and stuff. I want to get him in some outdoor winter stuff here going on. Yeah. Oh, we're together all the time. I'm telling you, I am his everything. So we're together 98% of the time. Please don't take my son. Anybody will tell you. Anybody that knows me in businesses will tell you. Him and that little boy are together all the time. We work on cars together. We do whatever together. Yes, we do. It's just me and him. Puzzles, dominoes, cars, you name it. We do it together. Work on remote control cars together. Talks about his sister.
Does Camden show affection for you?
Yes, he does. He's my little hug brother. We call himself a little hug brother. He's very affectionate towards people, especially women, since his mother's not in his life wholeheartedly. And I don't expose him to too many other women outside of my sister and family members. I don't have a relationship. My life is so busy, I don't have a personal relationship. I have no time for it right now. So, I think he's kind of looking for that place still. And I always tell him to be nice to people. He's always nice, very, very mannerable, very, very mannerable. Anybody see him, he'll tell you, please, thank you. Anybody will tell you. Anybody can attest to that. That's not true what she's saying. My son is very mannerable.
You said very mellow?
Very mannerable. Mannerable.
Okay,
yes,
thank
sir.
you.
Very, very mannerable. Anybody will tell you that. She shouldn't even tell that fib herself. He's very mannerable to everybody, very polite.
So when he does struggle controlling his emotions, how does he behave?
How does he behave? To me, he gives me like sugar. I say, son, what is that about? What's going on with it? So let's find something to do, man. Come on, let's go find something to do. Let's go for a walk. Let's go downstairs. Let's do something. What do you want to do? And he'll stand there with his hands crossed for a minute, and he'll think about it. And he'll say, I love you, Dad. Something like that. I said, well, can we talk about it? What's going on with you? Oh, nothing. Nothing's going on. And he'll just change up just like that. Like from day to night. Yeah. Like I said, I haven't experienced the problem that she's claiming that she has with him because she's not there. Rachel will come get him on a Friday. That's the end of her work day. She drives down here. Sometimes she can't even drive. She's on the passenger side. I said, what's the matter? I'm dead tired. I just want to go home and go to bed. She'll go home and go to bed. Now it's Saturday. She gets up, they call her to work. She goes to work. She gets up, it's Sunday. It's time to bring him back home. She couldn't even tell you what the weekend consists of sometimes. And then she exposes him to some of these theme parks where I was telling her about this COVID thing, where we shouldn't be social gathering like that, Rachel. I said, right now is not the time to try to do up north water parks and stuff that she was exposing him to. So we're conflict about things like that. As soon as this COVID came out, she decided she wants to take him to a water park. Worst thing to do. And anything that I'd asked her to and try to talk to her about things like that, she'd go against it and always say that I'm controlling. I'm just telling you what the government is saying. I'm not there, and I don't think it's a good idea for us to expose our children to it. Then she works in an environment where there's nothing but transient people there. I told her that, Rachel, I don't want him up there at that place at the Odyssey house because you want to show your kid off. This is not the time for it. She said they haven't had any documented cases or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I believe you, but I don't want us to be the primary victims of it. There's things like that I try to talk to her about that she deems as controlling. I've been a parent a lot longer than Rachel has. And this COVID thing was nothing to play with. I'm very serious about it. We haven't had any contact, and we follow the rules, and we self-quarantine ourselves. We've been doing very great since this whole outbreak.
So tell me, Mr. Robinson, have you had personal involvement with Child Protective Services?
No, sir. No, sir. No. The only time I did was when she mentioned it, when they called and told them that I was visiting my daughter at DHS, and that was Child Protective Service where I'm at. And they came back in the room and said, hey, the mother's on her way down here to get the kid because the mother's the one that called the police and told them I was down there. After she falsified that domestic. She did that. She did this. All this is one of her ploys. This is what she does. This is why we was in court the other day. She just told the court when we were in court when he raised my bond. The judge said, who has custody of this child? She said, he does for now, and put emphasis on it. And my attorney brought it right up to her. She sat right there and said, he does for now. I haven't done anything wrong to hurt my child. I've been a very good provider for him, very excellent parent for him. And she does her part. When she does her part, I don't say anything about it. So please don't take my son from me. I'm all he has.
Anything else is there anything else you want to tell me, Mr. Robinson?
No, he's a normal child to me. No, sir.
Ms. McCluskey, do you have questions for Mr. Robinson?
Just a couple, Your Honor. I think the court's covered a lot of it. So, Mr. Robinson, you stated that you testified that the state did a home study. Why
You broke
did
up
the state do
bad
a home
there,
study?
I couldn't. You broke up really bad there, Ms. McCluskey.
I apologize.
We got a bad signal. It's not you. We got a bad signal from it.
You testified that the state did a home study.
Yes.
Give me 1 second. I apologize. Is that a little better?
Yeah. It's just breaking up for you.
You testified that the state did a home study. Is
Yes.
that correct? And what was the
Yes.
purpose of that home study?
To get my daughter reunified home, to get Olivia home. I have an excellent report for that if you need to see it. Excellent report. They said my home is outstanding. There's no problem with it. We just needed to upgrade to a 2-bedroom because the boy and the girl cannot sleep in the same room.
Okay,
Right.
and you reunifying, I'm sorry, strike that. So was it DHHS that did the home study?
Yes, correct. That's correct.
Okay,
Yes.
but you testified you have no involvement with Children's Protective Services, is that correct?
I've had plenty of allegations. I have no, the way they said it is that I've had no CPS cases because I went and seen the supervisor for them constantly calling me or whatnot at my job. He said, we have no CPS cases. He said, but we have CPS investigations that require 72 hours for us. So he made me understand it. He said, you didn't qualify for anything after 72 hours. They were all closed each time.
So
That's the only thing
who is it, I'm sorry, who is it that's reunifying you with Olivia Taylor?
Honorable Jordan, Judge Jordan.
Okay. You testified that 2 of your children were adopted by their grandparents, is that correct?
From what I know of, yes.
Okay,
To my knowledge,
does that mean, so your parental rights were terminated to those 2 children? Correct.
To one.
Okay.
Which wasn't my biological child. She's white kid, blonde hair, blue eyes. I thought it was my child, so I tried to take on the role as a parent. It's not even my biological child.
But that were you the you were the legal father to that child, is that correct?
I signed to be the legal father, yes. I voluntarily signed to be the legal father because I was under the presumption that the child was mine for 9 months.
And your
Yes.
rights were terminated.
That's correct, yes.
You testified that Children's Protective Services has never substantiated abuse.
It wasn't for the abuse. I signed off. I voluntarily signed off, man. She's blonde hair, blue eyes. I'm African American. I'm black as Nat King Cole.
Your daughter Willow, is there no custody or support order in place for Willow?
Not that I'm aware of. No. Because I signed off for it. It was the best interest for me to get, just let her go on with her life.
Okay,
So
so you signed off your rights to Willow. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Jaden, do you currently have parental rights to Jaden?
Yes. Yes. I don't know. We
You
froze
do.
up.
Is there a support and custody order in place for Jaden?
I'm not sure, ma'am. I'm not sure.
You're not sure if there's a custody or support
I'm not-
order in place for Jaden?
I'm not sure, ma'am.
Okay, how often do you see Jaden?
I don't see him at all anymore. I don't know where he's at now.
Oh, okay. And you do not see Willow or the other 2 children either, correct?
Correct.
And you are currently attempting to reunite with Olivia, correct?
Correct.
But it's your testimony that that's through a custody file through the family court?
I don't know where you're trying to go with this, ma'am. I just said correct to you. That's what I'm trying to do. Reunify through the courts, through Judge Jordan. I don't know where else we're going with it. Yes, ma'am. We're trying to do a reunification.
Okay. Is there a foster care worker involved with that reunification?
No.
When the next court date in front of Judge Jordan for that reunification?
You'd have to ask Judge Jordan that, ma'am. She doesn't get notified me of anything. I don't have any notification yet. You'd have to contact Judge Jordan. She hasn't given us anything. During COVID, everything is getting thrown out of whack.
Are you participating in any services for that reunification, like therapy?
I don't need any, ma'am. None's required. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm perfectly normal.
Okay.
No.
You stated that you were in the Aware shelter because of Miss Taylor assaulting you. Was that correct?
Yes, she's admitted her assault. It's in the police report, ma'am. It's right there in the police report.
Okay. And was she arrested?
Was she arrested? I don't know what happened. I don't know. I don't inquire about what happens to her. I have a
Any
child with her.
charges filed, to your knowledge, against her?
I have a child with her, ma'am. Miss Taylor is grown. I don't pry into her personal life. I just know what the police report said. The police report reports that she assaulted me, ma'am.
Okay. You testified she assaulted you, but you didn't follow up to find out if she was charged for that assault?
What? I'm not trying to see no harm brought to her at all.
Okay. And you are awaiting a jury trial, which is currently set for February. Is that correct?
Been waiting since last February, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And that's for domestic violence second offense. Is that correct?
That's what the file says. I can't remember it first, ma'am. I can't remember it first. They said it was 1982 or something. I don't even remember that. I don't remember 1982. So this is the first one I ever recall.
Okay. So you're stating that the file says there was a first offense in 1982. Is that
Yes.
what you testified?
Yeah,
Okay.
somewhere way back. I can't remember.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any other prior criminal convictions or charges?
Yes, I do.
Okay. What are
They're public
those?
record. They're public record. They're public record, ma'am.
Okay. Those do involve weapons charges, is that
No.
correct?
No.
They do involve drug-related charges, though, is
They're
that
public
correct?
record, ma'am. They're public record. They're public
I know,
record.
but I'm asking you, you probably know what your convictions are. Do they involve possession of drugs?
Possibly.
Okay. And there is a history of domestic violence, correct?
No.
Charges?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of. Not that I know of, ma'am.
Okay.
My criminal record is no different than hers. Mine is no different than her criminal record. She almost killed 2 people.
I have no further questions. Thank you, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Robinson, I do have just a few more. What's Willow's last name?
Robinson.
What's Willow's mother's name?
Elizabeth Dawes.
Golf, like the game?
Dawes. D-A-W-S. D-A-W-S, sir.
Dawes, sorry.
You guys, okay.
What is Jaden's last name?
Rodriguez.